welcome all of you in SST College of Arts and Commerce. This is SST Edupedia and I am Mrs. Vaijayanti Patil, Assistant Teacher. Today we are going to learn a new topic, that is 2.3, the poem The Inchcape Road, which was written by Robert Sade. Before going to start this poem, there are icebreaker questions. In that section, you have one question is that discuss some world's famous rocks and their places. Here I have taken some examples. You can also Google it as well as collect extra information about that. The first example is that it is Balancing Rock, which was situated in Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu. The second example is that Davis Tower, which is situated in USA, and it is identified as a national monument also. So this is Davis Tower in USA. The next we have world's famous rock, that is Mount Thai's Immortal Bridge, which is situated in China. And fourth one is Phantom Rock, which is situated in Kerala. So these are some examples of world's famous rock. Now we will turn to our poem, that is 2.3, The Inchcape Road. It is written by Robert Sade. So you can see the real image of this Inchcape rock, and it is in Scotland. Before going to start this poem, we will see some information about the poet. So Robert Sade was born in 1774 and was died in 1843. He is a very famous English romantic poet, and he is also considered as he is very famous lake poet also. With William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge and Robert Sade, these are the three lake poets. They were born in the Lake District, that's why they called as a lake poet. And Robert Sade was a poet laureate of England from 1813 to 1843. Poet laureate means Rajkavi. The government has appointed some poets to write the poems on the special occasion event. That's why they hire such types of poets. So Robert Sade was also poet laureate from 1813 to 1843 until his death. And his famous poems are The Scholar, The Battle of Blenheim, Bishop Hatto and The Inchcape Rock. So today we are going to learn the Inchcape Rock. Let's see about some information about the poem. The Inchcape Rock is a ballad. A ballad means a poem that narrates a story in short stanzas. It may be dramatic, it may be funny, romantic. So this is a story told in a narrative way, and there are one or more characters in this story, so it is called a ballad. It is a story of 14th century legendary folktale about the Inchcape bell that was tied to the rock by kind-hearted abbot of Aberbrothock. So in this story we have one main character, that is protagonist, and his name is Abbot of Aberbrothock. And in 14th century there was legend is that in Scotland there was Inchcape rock, and many ships were crashed because of this rock, because it couldn't find easily when there was tide very high at that time. No one can identify this rock. That's why Abbot of Aberbrothock has tied the bell on this Inchcape rock. That's why many people has blessed him because of this well-doing. It was a warning bell who saves the sailors from It was the warning bell who saves the sailors from shipwreck by crashing with the rock. Because many people's lives was saved by the bell, so many people blessed him to Abbot of Aberbrothock. Then you can see the real images of this Inchcape rock, which was situated in Scotland. It is also called as a Bellrock Lighthouse in Scotland, the Inchcape rock. Robert Sade, inspired by the legendary story of a pirate, Sir Ralph the Rover, who removed the bell. Now we comes to know that there is also one more character, and it is villainous character, and his name is Sir Ralph the Rover. Sir Ralph the Rover felt jealous of the popularity of the abbot because everyone was thankful for saving many lives. As we have seen that there are two characters. The protagonist or main character is Abbot of Aberbrothock, and the villainous character that is antagonist. He is a Sir Ralph the Rover. He is a pirate. Rover means pirate. समुंदरी डाकू हम उसे कहते हैं, समुंदरी लुटेरा like this. So because of personal pleasure, who creates disaster for the sheep so that he would loot them, so he cuts the bell. What is the reason behind that? Sir Ralph the Rover cuts the bell because he was very jealous about Abbot of Aberbrothock's popularity. Many people give thanks to him because of his well done. And the poem's message is that those who do wrong things will meet with due punishment. जैसा हम करते हैं वैसे हम भरते हैं. जैसे इस स्टोरी का वही मैसेज है, मोरल है कि दोज हु डू रॉन्ग थिंग्स विल मीट विथ ड्यू पनिशमेंट. सो यू कैन सी हियर देयर आर टू मेन कैरेक्टर्स. The abbot of Aberbrothock. Abbot, it is the designation or position. We can call it a monk in a monastery. He was a main monk. He is called as abbot. Abbot is not a name, it is a designation, and his name is Aberbrothock. And second character, that is villainous character, that is Sir Ralph the Rover. So let's start this poem. What happened with the Ralph the Rover and with Abbot of Aberbrothock, we see it in detail. So this is the first stanza. We have 17 stanzas, but in first part we will see 7 to 8 stanzas, and in next video we will see the remaining part. So this is first stanza. No steer in the air, no steer in the sea, the ship was still as sea could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion, her keel was steady in the ocean. Here steer means movement and still means quiet. The weather is very silent one, very calm, no steer in the air. There is no movement at all in the air as well as in the sea also, and the ship was very still. The ship is also not moving, it is also still, still means quiet, and her sails from heaven received no motion. Sails means it is a cloth on the ship. You can see the picture on of the ship. Here is a white cloth, it is called as a sails. So sails from heaven received no motion, it is also not moving, and her keel was steady in the ocean. Keel means the bottom part of the ship. So it was also not moving. In short, the first stanza describes the very calm atmosphere or weather of the sea. Then we will turn to second stanza. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. Here also there was no such moment. There was no any steer in the sea also as well as in waves also. So very little movement of the water as well as the water and the waves also. So there was no movement of Inchcape bell also because the atmosphere is very calm, very quiet. So this is third stanza. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. Here we can get information that the who has placed the bell? The abbot of Aberbrothock. Here abbot means head of abbey of monks, and it is the designation as I have told you before. So abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung. Buoy का meaning है floating objects anchored in the sea to mark dangerous places. It is a one place, it is a dangerous place like a Inchcape rock, and there was a floating object. On that the bell was tied by abbot of the Aberbrothock, and this was the warning bell who wants the sailors to stay away from this dangerous rock. Now the next stanza. When the rock was hid by the surge swell, the marines heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. Surge swell means it is a sudden and great rise in the level of the sea. When there will be a high tide in the sea, at that time the rock was hide itself. That's why it couldn't be found easily to the sailors or the peoples. The mariners heard the warning bell. Whenever they listened the warning bell which was tied by the abbot of Aberbrothock, that time what they do, they bless the abbot of Aberbrothock. Blessed, it is the archaic word, it is used in old English language. Blessed meaning है blessed, जो दुआ देते थे किसको, abbot of Aberbrothock को. When they know the perilous rock, जब भी वो बेल की साउंड सुनते थे तो उसी वक्त वो एबोट ऑफ एबरब्रोथॉक को दुआएं देते थे कि आप बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, इनकी वजह से हमारी जान बच गई. Many people saved their lives because of this Inchcape bell. The sun in the heaven was shining gay, all things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was joyance in their sound. Here also you can get the happy atmosphere of this ocean also, or sea also. The sun is also shining in the sky with a gay means happiness. All things were joyful on that day. Everything was very beautiful scene at the time. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round. Screamed means shouted. The birds were chirping and they were shouted, and they fly round and round. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round means to circle round. They were flying round and there was a joyance in their sound, and they were also very happy mood. So joyance का मतलब है cheerful or happiness. So you can see the picture here, the birds are chirping on the ocean, and the sun is also rising, shining in the sky with happiness, and the birds are also screaming. So we have the next stanza, that is, the boy of the Inchcape bale was seen, the darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rower walked his deck and fixed his eye on the darker speck. Now in this stanza we have the entry of our villainous character, that is the Ralph the rower, and he is a pirate, as you know. The buoy means buoy. Buoy means it is a floating object anchored in the sea to mark dangerous places. He sees there is something which is floating on the Inchcape rock, so he has fixed his eyes on that, and the darker speck on the ocean green. The sea was very green, it was very clean and clear. That's why he also identified the darker speck. Darker speck means it is the tiny dot, and he had found it very easily. So he had fixed his eyes on that, and he is now curious what is in that. He is now keenly watching the Inchcape rock. So we will see what happened at the next. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rower's mirth was wickedness. Now the Sir Ralph the rower is also very in a happy moment. He is also whistling, he is also singing a song, and mirthful. Here mirthful means happiness. He is also very happy, but the rower's mirth was wickedness. Here mirth means it is a laughter. He is laughing, but in his laughing there is a wickedness ahead. What is that wickedness? We will see. His eye was on the Inchcape float. He has fixed his eyes on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, it is quoth he. Quoth means said. He said to his man, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape rock, and I will plague the abbot of Aberbrothock. Now he had told his men that put out the boat and he want to go to Inchcape rock, because there was one intention, that is hideous intention, is that he was going to trouble, or he was causing the trouble to the work of the Sir Abbot of the Aberbrothock. So it is the very hideous intention of the Sir Ralph the rower. We will see what he is going to do in the next part. Till then, thank you.